Let me ask you something. Have you ever heard someone say, well, that might be true for you, but it's just not true for me? How do we know what's true anymore? I mean, think about it. We live in a world where truth feels like it's up for grabs. On your phone, you scroll and one person swears that they have the real truth, while the next post says the exact opposite. One news channel says, this is reality, while another says, nope, that's fake. See, we live in a culture that tells us, follow your heart, live your truth, do what feels right to you. But here's the problem. What happens when your truth collides with my truth? What happens when your feelings don't line up with reality? What happens when what seems right to you ends up destroying you? This is why we need today's message, because your truth sounds empowering, but it can also be the most dangerous lie you ever believe. Watch this and I'll be right back. Hey, let's play a little game. It's called Two Truths and a Lie. Which one of these three statements about me is a lie? One of my sons did a platinum album with Eminem. I have a vehicle that has been in my family for almost 100 years. Third one is, I sneak Oreos when I don't preach my best. Now, the last one was the one that was a lie. Here's the truth. I don't sneak Oreos when I preach bad. I eat them when I preach good, because Oreos are like manna from heaven, especially the double stuffed ones. Why did I start with a game, you might ask? Because that's what life often feels like. We're constantly trying to figure out, is this true or is this a lie? That's not a new problem either. In fact, one of the most famous moments in history came down to that exact question. A man named Pilate. He was the Roman governor, the political leader with the power to set Jesus free or condemn him to death. Right before that decision, Pilate asked the same question we wrestle with today. And Jesus said these words, "The reason I was born and came into the world is to testify to the truth. Everyone on the side of truth listens to me." What is truth? Pilate asked. That's still one of the most important questions we have to answer today. What is truth? I'm going to answer that question by giving you a couple things to think about when it comes to truth. First, truth is absolute. See, we live in a world where people like to say, that's your truth, this is my truth. But here's the problem. Truth doesn't bend just because we feel like it should. Truth isn't changing. Truth isn't personal. Truth isn't whatever you make it. Truth is absolute. It's constant. And truth is for everyone, everywhere, all the time. The problem is we confuse truth with perspective. See, perspective can change. Truth cannot. Perspective is yours. Truth is God's. If you confuse your perspective with truth, you'll start believing that truth is subjective, that it shifts depending on your circumstances or feelings. What's true for you might not be true for me. Now that sounds nice, but the wisdom from Proverbs chapter 14:12 warns us, says, there is a path before each person that seems right, but it ends in death. Imagine getting on a flight and hearing the captain say, "Welcome to Alaska Airlines. I've never flown before, but I feel like I'm a pilot today. And since I believe I'm a pilot, I'm a pilot." Are you going to stay on that plane? No, you're going to get off as quick as you can, because believing something doesn't make it true. It's like this. Truth isn't what you feel, it's what's real. The second thing about what truth is feelings can fool us. Now, I want to be clear. Your story matters, and your perspective matters, and your experiences matter. but they don't equal absolute truth. Jeremiah tells us this in Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 9, where he says, "The human heart is the most deceitful of all things and desperately wicked. Who really knows how bad it is?" See, that verse blows up one of our favorite cultural slogans: just follow your heart. God says your heart lies to you. Have you ever had someone cut you off in traffic? Probably. I know I have. What do you feel like doing at that moment? Laying on of hands in a not so biblical way? Just because it feels right doesn't mean it's right. See, when feelings become your compass, you'll always end up lost. It's like this. If your feelings are your guide, don't be surprised when you crash. The third thing to think about when it comes to truth is guard against twisted truth. If truth is relative, if it shifts depending on me or you, then morality becomes subjective. Right and wrong are just opinions, and eventually you become the source of truth. Paul warned Timothy about this when he said, "A time is coming when people will no longer listen to sound and wholesome teaching. They will follow their own desires and look for teachers who will tell them whatever their itching ears want to hear. They will reject the truth and chase after myths." Sound familiar? We don't want God's truth. We want truth that's easy to stomach. We want to hear things like, it's okay to hold on to your anger, but what we need to hear is forgive so you can be free. We want to hear things like, I'll finally have peace when life slows down. But what we need to hear is peace doesn't come from circumstances. It comes from Christ. We want to hear things like, do whatever makes you happy. But what we need to hear is happiness fades, but holiness lasts. The list goes on. What we want to hear is often the opposite of what we need to hear. Think of a doctor. You don't want to just hear your doctor say everything's fine when maybe the scan shows that you got cancer. You want the truth, even if it hurts, because truth can heal you. It can help you. It's like this. What feels good isn't always what's good. Now, the fourth thing is this. Truth is a person. Truth isn't just a philosophy. Truth isn't just a set of beliefs. Truth is a person, and his name is Jesus. Jesus said these words, "I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no one comes to the Father except through me." See, Jesus didn't say, "I am a truth." He said, "I am the truth." This is where people push back because they love Jesus as a healer and they love him as a teacher of love, but they don't love the exclusivity. But if Jesus is who he says he is, then any truth that contradicts him is not truth at all. Pilate gave the people a choice, Jesus, the truth, or Barabbas, the liar. And the crowd chose Barabbas. Why? Because lies are always easier to swallow than truth. That's what happens when you cling to your truth. Lies are comfortable, but comfort can kill you. It's like this. Truth isn't an option you hold, it's a person you follow. Now, the last one about truth is this. Truth sets you free. Jesus said these words, you've probably heard these before, but where he says this in John, he says, "And you will know the truth, and the truth will" what? Set you free. The truth of Jesus doesn't bind you. It doesn't limit you. It liberates you. And when you follow your truth, it may feel good for a moment, but it leads to chains. When you follow the truth, you may wrestle with hard choices, but it always leads to freedom. Think of gravity. Now, you can deny it all you want and say things like, my truth is that gravity doesn't apply to me. But the second you jump off a roof, reality takes over. Obeying the truth of gravity doesn't restrict you, it protects you. Same with God's truth. It's like this, your twisted truth traps you, but God's truths free you. Remember, just because you believe it doesn't make it true. And just because it feels right doesn't make it right. Truth isn't something you define. Truth is something you follow. So here's the question. Are you living by your truth or are you living by the truth? If your truth doesn't line up with God's truth, it's not truth. It's twisted truth. And this kind of truth will always let you down. But Jesus, the truth, will always set you free. Let me pray. Father, will you help us this week to look into your words, to look into your Son's teachings of what he said about life. And may we follow that truth, and may that truth set us free. Amen. I want to thank you for being with us, and I hope that this was informative and helpful for you. And if it was, why not share it with someone else? We'll see you next week, either online or on campus.